Well, hey everyone, I'm going to attempt in this video to demystify the process of choosing good keys for songs. For song leaders, for set lists that you're planning. For the longest time as a worship pastor, this was very challenging for me. It felt like it was like an art, or like there was mysterious, and it was all feeling based. And I've learned, with the help of some friends that are more trained musically, it's actually not just all feelings based. There's some like empirical data, some math behind it, some science behind it as to why this works out. And honestly, after seeing it, anyone can learn this. And so that's my why for this video. I think that in a few minutes time here, I can really give you some tools that really change the game for me, and I think will do the same for you if this is something that's been challenging for you up to this point. So let's jump into it. Let's look at a piano. Anytime we talk about vocal ranges, I think it's easiest to just look at a piano because we are familiar with this. No matter what instrument you play, you're generally familiar with this. You know, these are all notes, and that like the relationship between those two is a half step. The relationship between these two is a whole step. You kind of generally know that. You might even know that that's a C and that that's a C, like that's an octave, you know, and that's another C. That would be 2 octaves right there. Like, you know, some basic things. Most of you have seen soprano, alto, tenor, bass. Really, that's probably more baritone, but let's not jump into the weeds of that. Soprano, alto, tenor, bass. This represents categories of vocal ranges. It's kind of a generalization. This is based on kind of my experience with the kind of songs that we sing. These are generally the useful ranges of each category of singer. I say category because every individual is unique, and just like every person has a unique fingerprint, they also have a unique voice, and so no one's vocal ranges are going to be exactly the same. Where they sound great at, where they push at, what their top note is, their bottom note, the useful parts of the range. It's all going to be different, just like every person is unique. Every vocal range is going to be unique. So it will become important to move out of just using these categories of ranges into actually like trying to identify each of your vocalist ranges. It's very helpful if you have that information. And it doesn't take that much work to figure it out, honestly. You can kind of figure it out over time. Anyway, that being said, so let's count if this is a half step, right? Another way to say that is a semitone. Like a whole tone would be like a whole step. This is a half step or a semitone. So if I want to see the range of this bass or baritone fella here, I didn't say these are my fellas, these are my ladies, if you didn't know that. But let's count this range. Ready? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21. So I know that this a baritone here has a 21 semitone range. Now if I look at the keyboard, his bottom note's a G. There's an octave. I know that there are 12 half steps, 12 semitones between those notes in one octave. So if I go all the way up to the next octave, that would be 24 semitones for 2 octaves. That's important to know, and you'll see why here in a second as we discuss more. We're just kind of defining terms and stuff right now. 24 semitones, that's 2 octaves. I can see that this bassist right here, or this bassist, this baritone right here has just under a 2 octave range, which is why it's 21 semitones, right? Not 24. We could count the same way for a tenor. I think I counted this earlier as it was like 22 semitones. It's still though, if his bottom note's an A, there's an octave, there's an octave. As you look at it, you can see he's just under 2 octaves, right? It's important to note. You can do the same with altos, same with sopranos. So we know what vocal range is. What's cool about this is it doesn't change. No matter what song we're talking about, what key it's in, blah blah blah. This doesn't change for these individuals. These are human beings, right? And their vocal range is going to be that regardless of what key the song is in. That will become important in just a second. Now, I don't have to, but I'm going to. I got to brush against music theory, and I'm just going to do it for a second, okay? We're not going to live here long. It would be my hope that you would challenge yourself to learn how to build a major scale. That would be my hope, okay? There's a pattern to it. That pattern is whole, whole, half, whole, 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 half, okay? Whole step, half step, whole step, half step. Okay, let's build one in the key of C, just so you can see it on a keyboard, okay? So whole step, meaning I'm skipping the half, right? Whole step, half step, and whole step, half step. The reason that pattern is important, whole, half, whole, half, is because if you remember, if all you do is memorize that pattern, you can set at a piano and build a major scale out of any key, as long as you know your starting point, okay? If you know what one is, what your starting home, your tonic is, you can build a major scale with that pattern, just in the relationship of the movements, okay? You move a whole step, then another whole step, then a half step, then a whole, then a whole, then a whole, then a half. Major scale. And then you can see what I'm about to show you in the key of C on the piano here. If I take all those notes, I can number them. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. That's a whole octave. 8 is the same as that. 8 is a 1. It's the same note, but it's a whole octave. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Right? That, all of a sudden, is one step into some real power, and I want to pause for a second just to make sure you're following me, okay? Now, I'm going to move out of music theory deeply and stop challenging you to memorize how to build a whole major scale, because I'm going to show you this. I Googled a major scales chart, okay? And this is the first thing that came up. And so you could just screenshot that if you want and keep it for reference. You can see in the key of C major that these are my notes. C, D, E, F, G, A, B. And indeed they are when you look at the keyboard, right? C, D, C, D, E, F, G, A, B, C. But I'm going to take those notes, right? I'm going to put them aside for a second, because I want you to take the major scale that you just built and just turn it into numbers, because that's where the power starts to really kick in, okay? 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Now, let's play a song in the key of C, okay? We're going to play Mary Had a Little Lamb because it's short, simple. So I know that the top note is that, and the bottom note is that in this melody. What numbers are those? 1, so the bottom note's a 1. 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, right? Like that melody, I could tell you all the numbers. 3, 2, 1, 2, 3, 3, 3, 2, 2, 2, 3, 5, 5, right? I'm just assigning a number to each note. That becomes important because what we've just identified is that the top note is a 5, the bottom note is a C. Or sorry, it's a 1. It is also C in the key of C, but it's a 1. Bottom note's a 1, top note's a 5. Okay, now, what if Mary Had a Little Lamb, I wanted my baritone bass to lead that this weekend? Well, I know by analyzing the melody that the top note is a 5, the bottom note's a 1. I want my bass to sing it. So let's look at his range, okay? Real quick. My bass's top note is a E, although once I get up here in his range, he might not sound the best hitting that, even though I could maybe even get him to stretch and hit that F. like he's not going to sound super stable. So if I'm going to have him lead this song, Mary Had a Little Lamb, I want his top note to be let's say a D. So I have to ask myself, in what key is D the 5th degree of the scale? Think about it. Okay, I'm going to go back because I want to come through it again. Okay, let's look at the keyboard. Skirt. Mary Had a Little Lamb was originally recorded in the key of C. I took that melody, I analyzed it, I realized that the top note is that, the bottom note is that, I know that that is a 1, I know that that is a 5. So, my top note is a 5. I want to push my bass baritone singer, if he's going to sing it, I want to push him up in his range a little bit so it sounds good and full. I want his top note to be that D right there. So in what key is the 5 a D? 5 D. What key is that? G major. Mary had a little lamb, little lamb, little lamb. Are you seeing this? Hold up. One more time. Roll it back. Okay. Mary Had a Little Lamb in the key of C as it was originally recorded. Actually, I don't know that. I'm just making it up. But 3, 2, 1, 2, 3, 3, 3, 2, 2, 2, 3, 5, 5. Top note's a 5. I want my bassist to sing it. I want his top note to be that right there, because his range isn't changing, right? I mean, that's his range. So let's have him hit that as the top note. Okay. If the melody of Mary Had a Little Lamb, the top note is a 5 of the key, then in what key is that note the 5? Well, 5, D, it's in G major. So I know if I want my bass to sing Mary Had a Little Lamb, and for that to be his top note, I put it in G. Mary had a little lamb, little lamb, little lamb. And there we go. So if I want my bass to sing it, I put it in G. That's easy. That's super easy, yeah? Let's do it again. Let's just change it. Let's say I want my soprano to sing. No, let's do alto, because most of you are probably altos if you're ladies. Let's say I want my alto to sing Mary Had a Little Lamb. I've analyzed the melody. I know that the bottom note's a 1, the top note's a 5. It has a 7 semitone range. Right, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Yeah, 7 semitone range. Top note's 5. I want my alto to sing it. There's her range. I don't want to push her to the edge of her range because that might hurt a little bit. So let's say I want her top note on it to be that A right there. In what key is A the 5th? Well, let's look here. A, right there. D major. So if I put it in D major, my soprano will probably be living. Mary had a little lamb, little lamb, little lamb. This just became so easy, y'all. Like so stinking simple, because you know you've analyzed the melody. You know your vocal ranges, you've analyzed the melody, you've turned that into numbers, and now you just need to go, okay, well, who do I need to sing that song this week? If my tenor needs to sing it, I want his top note maybe to be I want him to be comfortable because it's an acoustic set, so I don't want him to be screaming at the top of his range. I'm going to make his top note this E right here, right? And so that's where I want him to land on the highest note. So in what key, because I've analyzed the melody of Mary Had a Little Lamb and the top note's a 5, in what key is an E the 5? And E is the 5th in the key of A major. So I would put my tenor leading it in the key of A. I can't get that high because I'm more of a bass baritone, but Mary had a little lamb, little lamb, little lamb. There it is. This unlocks a whole lot of potential for you, because it's really simple. There are just there are really 2 steps. It's step 1, know the vocal range of your leaders. Map it out, keep a note of it. Note it in Planning Center, note it on their profile, note it in your phone, note it in a spreadsheet, note it somehow, just so you kind of roughly know. I know that in my case, Landon Rose happens to top out at a G. Now, I could push him maybe if the vowel is right and the sound is right to push up from that, but generally it's a G. However, I'm not going to put him in a song singing a G over and over and over because it's the top of his range. So I want to drop him down really into this area, this E, this F, that G flat or F sharp. That's really probably about the top that I want him leading at. Because it'll sound the best right there, right? So I know that tenor, that's Landon right there. And so if I know I want Landon to lead song 2 in the set, all I have to do is analyze the key of the song. Let's put this into actual practice with some actual songs that we use. How about that? And then we'll wrap this up and you can ask questions and maybe I'll make future videos. Let's talk about the All Hail King Jesus, okay? All Hail King Jesus is a pretty wide song. All Hail King Jesus is actually a 5th to a 5th. Now, I wish I could say that it's from like that, right? It's in the key of E, right? So I think the original recording's in the key of E, at least, if I'm recalling right. So in the key of E, I've analyzed this. So I've just listened to the song and I've plucked out the melody, and then I notated it. I just wrote it down. The bottom note is a 5th, so it's a B, and the top note is a 5th, which is also a B. However, it's 2 octaves. So I wish I could say the range of All Hail King Jesus is just that, but unfortunately it's not. Unfortunately, the range of All Hail King Jesus is something like that, I think. And so that makes it a little more challenging now, doesn't it? However, because what you found is with 24 semitones, there's no one person really that can sing that well, given their ranges here. So I'm going to need to split that song into 2 different leaders. I might have to have guys maybe take that low verse at the beginning and then let the girl hang out here, singing high or something. It's a wider song. Or I'll have to alter the melody of the song so that I can make it not so wide of a range. Also a possibility. We do both of those all of the time when songs are recorded and with huge ranges like that. However, this is All Hail King Jesus, I believe, if my notes are right. It's a B to a B. That's the 5th in the key of E. So it's in the key of E. There was a moment when the lights went out. Yeah, okay. Key of E. And that's my top note somewhere in the song. I don't even know what part of the song it is. I just have it noted down that that's the top note. So let's say I wanted if I left it here, I would have a hard time with this alto leading the song because that's the tip top of her range. And so I really need to move that down a touch for this alto so that she's just not hurting everybody screaming the whole time, right? So really, I probably need to put it maybe somewhere like that, or even like that, where that's the top note. That would help. Even a half step would help, right? And so let's just move it into a half step. We haven't done a flat yet. So in what key is B flat the fifth of a key? Well, B flat it's E flat. Okay, so if I want that to be the top note for this alto, for her to lead it, I'm going to put the song in the key of E flat. Okay, that's really how that works. It's that simple. Now, man, I don't know how deep to dive on this. No, let me do another song. Let's do God of Revival. God of Revival was originally chorded in the key of D flat. Bottom note is a 1, and the top note is the 4th, I believe. So, yeah, I think that's right, if my notes are correct. So I know that if I am a bass baritone. So if I want to lead this song, given its range, I'm just looking at it here on the keyboard, right, against all the other ranges. If I want to lead that and I'm a bass, I'm probably gonna. In what key? This is the question. In what key is that E, the 4th? Because I know that the top note's a 4th. Is in what key is an E, the 4th degree of the scale? Well, 4th, key of E, or note of E, there, B major. So if I put B major, that song in B major, I can probably do it. Here, let me grab a guitar, actually. I have one here. Let's just find out. A little live playthrough here. B. We've seen what you can do, O God of wonders. Your power has no end. It feels pretty good. Things you've done before in greater measure, we know you will do again. Yeah. There's no prison wall you can't break through. That feels good. Oh, the darkest night, you can light it up. You can light it up. Oh, God of revival. And that was my top note. God of, right there. There it is. That's the top note, the 4th, and that's the top note of the song. And I can do it there. Okay. Now, I hope you're tracking with me thus far. I could go a layer. Sorry, I keep changing that. I could go a layer deeper. I'm looking at the time, 22 minutes. I'm gonna wrap this video up. But to do so, I'm gonna take a step back and talk about a set, okay? Because why this becomes a little more complicated is you're not just trying to pick one song for one singer. That's like step 1. But you have 3 songs, you have 3 different singers, and you have a set that needs to be in relation to one another, right? So it's like you have to be able to kind of look at this and realize you're looking at 6 moving parts, kind of. What I mean is this. That song's in the key of B. For me, I would prefer to lead that in the key of B. Right? But my, really, I probably even wouldn't. Honestly, I'd probably prefer to lead that in B flat, because that top note was a little, like let's say it was an acoustic set, no big band and stuff. I don't want to be screaming at people, so I'm going to put it in B flat, because honestly, I'm most comfortable in B flat this week, right? So, oh, the darkest night, you can light it up, you can light it up, oh God of revival. I like that, that feels good. So I'm going to go B flat for my song. Now the next song is going to be All Hail King Jesus. And my female vocalist that's going to lead it prefers the key of E for that. Right? So the key of E is All Hail King Jesus. That's just where she likes singing it. Well, now we have a problem because the relationship between, I'm really smacking you at the end of this video, I'm sorry, but the relationship between the key of B flat and then the key of E for the girl, the next song, that sounds horrendous because it's a tritone. It doesn't sound good. But now, what if her or I would be willing to move our song a half step either way? Our key change between the song would go from to, oh, that's much more stable. It feels so much better. And all I did was change the key of my song a half step. That would make my top note, rather than be this E flat here, would make it be the D, because I'm going to sing the song in the key of A. And that's a much better set if I'm going from the key of A to the key of E, rather than if I'm going, I mean, you can hear that, right? No good, no good, no good. That sounds more stable, right? And so if I just move a half step, the set is so much better. The same can work if the female moves a half step. So let's say that my preferred key is B flat in God of Revival, and I'm not moving. That's the only key I can sing it in because the range is so wide that that's how it is for me. And so it has to be B flat. Okay, well, if my lady friend who prefers to sing All Hail King Jesus, the next song, in the key of E, could push it just slightly, a half step up. If she could go, the whole set would go from like this to like this. That's so much more relaxing, right? Just because one of us was willing to slide a half step here or there. And that's the power of like putting all this stuff into numbers, and being able to realize that, man, just with a little bit of like thinking, a little bit of humility from your vocalist, you can plan a flow through a set that really works the best. All right, had to make a quick video cut right here. What I just said is true. I think given these tools and stuff, we really can plan a good flow in our sets, make some good decisions based on the vocals we have, knowing the range of our songs. Let's create a little system. The reason I made this video cut is because I went down a rabbit trail that I just didn't love how I went down. And that rabbit trail included the conversation about songs being singable to the congregation. And if I might do a deeper dive on this in a separate video is my thinking. But for right now, what I would say and leave with you is also realize that your congregations are made up of all of these people, right? And so their collective range is pretty wide. But if you want them all singing melody, unison melody, you're really limited into 4 or 5 notes really that they can double up on and sing strongly together. It's a pretty small range if that is your goal, unison melody altogether. However, I think maybe a better way to think about that is to consider the whole set. Are you diversifying the song keys and the leaders inside of your set to include some female leads and some male leads, kind of giving everyone in the congregation the chance to stretch out a bit, on a melody. Because not everyone can find a harmony part, And so I think you can diversify the set a little bit to help with that. Also, I would say one of the things we've got feedback on is when you leave a soprano, ladies in particular, altos, sopranos, when you leave them up here, I guess even tenors too, if they're stretching up here at the very tip top of their ranges and just living there, it's going to be fatiguing to the ear. It's not going to be a pleasant experience for anyone in the room. And so my suggestion would be to drop it down a little, just a touch, so that it's comfortable. And then you don't want like 15 minutes of a soprano living right there, which is why I would say diversify the set. So if the soprano's living there for a few minutes, 3-4 minutes, maybe the next song needs to be tenor led or baritone led, you know, just to offer some variety. And I think that we'll be able to engage more worshipers that way, giving everyone kind of a chance to sing out on something. If you only have one vocalist, then right, you're going to be a little bit more limited. What I would say is just try to move around the ranges a little bit so that you're not screaming at people for 15 minutes, because that's just not pleasant for everyone. Anyway, we could deep dive on that maybe in a future video. I'll see what kind of questions I get after this post and stuff. If you are local to Indy or to Traders Point in particular, and you want to talk more thoroughly on this, let me know. I would love to get together, do one-on-one or something, and just go over this if you still have questions. If you're on the internet somewhere on the World Wide Web, send a comment if you want. I'll try to reach out, contact me somehow, and I would love to serve you or to help if I am able to in some way. And so anyway, I hope this has been helpful for some of you. I know I would have loved this as a young worship pastor. Turning these ranges and stuff into numbers makes them a lot more pliable. And so I'll avoid jumping into more music theory. But it's been a lot, I guess, 30 plus minutes probably by this point. So anyway, thanks for sticking around. Love you guys. I'll catch you next time. Bye.